Well, hi everybody. Surprise, surprise. I've been reading some of my comments, and I had a couple of people asking me to read on a couple of things, so I thought I'd come on and do it real quick and not bore anybody with a bunch of, well, I was going to quit talking about boring people, but not a lot of comments, just read on these two or three people that they wanted me to read on. I do have one thing to say about religious organizations and them using Christianity, even supposedly supposed to rule our government. Um, like the crazy lady that said shouldn't vote on Sunday because it was in the Bible, and the part of the Bible she was talking about was the Old Testament, and at that time Sunday was on Saturday. So it wasn't even the Sabbath that we call it now, but anything that they can use, any bullshit. But and this is the way I've always thought. If people were really so sure about their belief system and their religion, they wouldn't try to indoctrinate other people into it. They would just teach by example, which is what Christ taught. And Christ also didn't start a religion, and he had no idea. He would have probably dropped dead when he would, before they put him on the cross, if he could have seen what they were going to do. He came here to teach a way of life, not religion. And it was love and peace and getting along and listening to both sides of the story and respecting other people and their opinions and ideas. It was nothing like what they're, bringing to right-wing politics to try to make examples all the time. It's real sad. And then they just passed a new law, or the Supreme Court just ruled on something, like if you get raped, where was it at? I can't believe those. Someplace I've been before, Michigan. I think it was Michigan. In Michigan, and you've had anything to drink under your own will, then you're not it's your fault, or something like that. Anyway, that's what kind of how the hearing came out. I just listened to that once, but keep your ears open because that should be coming up. It was ruled against a woman. So and then Tucker Carlson was talking to this guy, and he was talking about women, liberal women, that you couldn't find anybody in the whole bunch that could cook. That cooking for men is not women's job, but there's a lot of liberal women that cook beautiful, whether it's for a man, their family, themselves, or anything else. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. And of course, Tucker Carlson sitting there saying, yeah, you're right. Who never had anything or anybody in their life probably ever cook for them but their servants. His family is a dynasty from the Swanson industry, the ones that did the frozen foods of the 50s, 60s, and probably still now. There are Swansons going. So he's part of that dynasty, so he never had to worry about anybody cooking for him. So anyway, I'll just leave it there. Just had to throw it out there. But I had one lady that I read for a couple of times. I think her name's Lynn, like mine, and she wanted me to read on Ted Cruz. She was talking about him being down at the border with a freaking gun. I didn't watch that much to know if he had a gun or not, but he was definitely at the border doing what? Who in the frick knows? Just trying to get attention any way they can. Those guys are worse than anybody I ever seen for attention. They'll do anything and go to any. When did it change that people had to have so much attention to survive? It wasn't in my generation. I can remember all the years I had that bar. It was pretty normal. I went in there in 1969. Yeah, it was 1969. It was the year we went to the moon. And it was kind of the same, feet over from the 50s and not too wild 60s, because it wasn't a hippie bar. It was outside a Navy base. Uh, Even though I was really liberal, and you know, it was still I had some real shocks the first 6 months I was in there. People trying to get my attention and shot me. Guys from the base, some of them were real b-holes. But I always, you know, was raised in produce people who always told dirty jokes and everything. So it wasn't an environment I hadn't been around or seen. But that was in 1969. By 2000, and I went through I don't want to go through the whole 38 years, but I went through where it was hard to get people to work, and, you know, not hard, depending on the polemics of the time, depending on what was going on in the neighborhoods, whatever. It was a back and forth thing after all those years. But from about 2001 or 2 on, I started hiring really young girls, and I started doing massage. I always looked for young girls, but for a while none of them wanted to work because they were afraid to work out there. And then it was like after that movie came out, that Coyote Ugly, every young girl in the world wanted to be a bartender. So that really helped my business, because I could hire some really young, good-looking girls, which really was good for business in a little beer bar, beer and wine. But when I started hiring these younger girls and stuff, they would do anything to get the attention. Like, I know I had mentioned before that some people would get naked and get up on the bar or on a chair or something and carve their name in the ceiling. And that had gone on for years. I had tried. Anyway, that's another story for another time. But anyway, I even had signs up on the doors telling people not to get off the floor and not to take their clothes off, but it didn't work because the bartenders pushed it when I wasn't there at night. But these young girls were so hungry for attention, and these were young, nice-looking girls between 21 and 25. And if we were having a birthday party or something, so I had 2 of them come in, or one of them was just there visiting, or a couple of the other ones that weren't there because it was somebody's party they liked or something. And one of them was behind the bar. It was amazing what they would do. And these were just what I thought was regular girls. But I mean, one would pull her blouse down off the side and almost show her boobs, and the other one would look over there at her, and 2 minutes later, well, she was jumping up on the bar and taking her whole top off, and then she jumped down from there, you know, and like if we would cut the cake or something, one would lick it off the knife and everybody would hoot and holler, and then one girl would jerk her shirt down and put icing on the end of her boob, and the other one would, you know, it was just anything to get attention. And I watched that go on for 4 or 5 years, and I thought, what was missing? There was a lot of things missing with my generation. That's why I always made terrible choices with men. But something was missing in that generation, the ones raised right before 2000, that made them where they thrived on constant attention. Now, this could have been something to do with social media coming in. I don't know if it did or not. But I've often wondered what changed. I mean, you know, society changed, because 20 years before that, my best friend who had moved to Wisconsin got drunk and got up and danced on a coffee table, which was a huge oak table that she had made into a coffee table that was lower, at a party, and everybody all week long was saying, oh, we felt so sorry for you because we knew that you'd really messed up. So it went from where a woman couldn't even she didn't even take her clothes off, where a woman couldn't even have fun or bring any attention to her, to where if they didn't have constant attention, they were just like starving. And it was so weird. And now I see it in the senators, I see it in the you know, the males just as much as the females. It's almost like a disease, this constant attention. And Maybe some of you guys could answer me, because I love your comments, and tell me if you think that's from social media, or what changed society so much so fast. Maybe it was the Kardashians. I don't know. I used to never watch them, or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and read here. So we're going to, this Lynn wanted me to read on Ted Cruz and see what the F he was, if he had a career. Well, and just wanted me to read on him and see what came out. So let's read on Ted Cruz and see what comes out here. And I hope I turned that camera on, because if I didn't, I'm not. Well, he's a fool. I think I'll put that right at the top. And he's walking away. So what could ever be so bad to get somebody who's totally shameless to ever walk away? But anyway, I'm going to put that at the top of this reading. And then I'm going to cut the cards and go for it here. So Ted Cruz, what's going on with you? Oh, you think you're making a strong point. So that's almost like answering what I just said, that yes, he does have to have constant attention, even if he's being really stupid and hiding in the swamp down at the border, trying to, looks like he's doing a tryout for Survivor. And you know how long he'd last. Anyway, so yeah, so we got the Ace of Swords. My way or the highway. Something's coming up with him. He'll be lucky if he stays out of jail. Look at this card. This is the influence over and the obstacle over the signifier. The signifier is he's trying to look strong. The obstacle and influence over it is he's worried about his ass going to jail. What have you done, Ted, that's even worse than that you... They've all done stuff to go to jail for. We know that. Anybody that pays any attention to politics knows that 99% of them should be in the hoosgow. But he's worried about it. So what's getting ready to come out? Look at this. No good. What do you think, people? You think he might be totally in on that capital stuff? I just hope they prosecute him and push it. You know, the way they talk on Fox News and whatever. I shouldn't even mention Fox News. But anyway, Donald Trump saying everybody was hugging the police during that riot, insurrection. No, it looks like Ted Cruz is in deep doo-doo over something. There's something hasn't come out yet. And that could be why he might have to walk away. Fool and walk away. This is about deals made. This is about money deals made. So was it to finance, help whatever. We got the Page of Pentacles. It's like he had something to do with the actual manipulation of the finances or something. We got the Page of Pentacles there. We got news coming out about this. We got the Town Crier coming out. So whatever it is that he's going on with him, we're going to find out about it pretty quick. Whatever it is, he really knows he effed up. Because look at this. This card's upside down. This is the Four of Swords and it's upside down. And that's himself and what's going on inside himself. So he's really terrified. Enough where it's keeping him awake at night. And he's sitting there figuring one way or the other way how to get out of it. Because he's really worried. And what surrounds us is Trump. Somehow it was something to do, you know, which we should have known. Something to do to help the bullshit and the fallacy of what the Republican Party's trying to put out there. He's hoping like hell that this is going to get delayed long enough and put on the back burner, and a bunch of other stuff's going to come back and it's going to go over his head and miss him. But I think this is Merrick Garland, and I think this is him doing an in-depth look at what really took place by following the money at the Capitol. So I think that, personally, I think that's what's behind it. And it's going to show that he was definitely involved, and a bunch of other Republicans were involved, and it was to do with overseas money also promoting it. So that's what I've got to say about Ted Cruz. Seems like all my readings just turn out the same about everybody. I don't know what I thought I was going to find there. I don't think I've ever read on Ted Cruz personally. Maybe if he was going to win his election or re-election or something, which I can't remember what it was. It was either close or a toss-up, or I might have said he was going to not win it. Seems like to me like it looked like he was, and I don't remember. It's been so many months ago. Who knows? It's been over a year ago. I did have a couple of people that have been so kind to me because they've just started watching me, and they've gone back. By the way, if you're new at this, click subscribe and thumbs up and anything else you can do to help, because I'm really proud. I'm trying to get to 6,000 with my channel, and it's creeping up there. I'm so happy. I only need a few hundred more to get up to 6,000. So, and if you want a personal reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. The other person that somebody wanted me to read on was Mike Pompeo. Let me cross these out, or I'll be reading on the same person twice before I'm through. I'm terrible about doing that. Was Mike Pompeo. So every time I even think of him, I just see slime coming off of him. Sometimes my guides show me pictures of him as a big black ball just rolling around down a street or something, giving off slime. Just a slime ball. So, I mean, that's why it's black, because it's picked up all the grime from the street, all the filth from his inhumanities, all the stuff, you know, all the trips he took to overseas and sold weapons and everything else when he didn't have any. Anyway, he's just a total frickin' slime ball. So let's see what's going on with Mike Pompeo. What are you up to, Pompeo? I guess they're having TV shows now about who's the biggest loyalist to Trump, and whoever's the biggest loyalist in each county and everything are the ones they're going to back to run the primary people. They're making this all of our politics just like the Hunger Games. But we have to go back and blame the House and the Senate and everybody else that had came to a standstill for the last 15-20 years because nobody wanted to upset their donors, and that's on either side. Something could have been done when this first started happening, but they just let it go all that time. And now we're in such a conundrum. Who knows if we're going to get out of it. But anyway, Mike Pompeo, let's see what's going on with you. Somebody's researching money on him. Somebody's looking into the fine details of his finances. And they're not in good shape. First card out. Okay, it's not upside down by accident. The first card out is the 10 of coins, and it's upside down. So there's a bunch of money following the money on him. And the influence and obstacle, as it looks like maybe his career, house, and whole life is getting ready to burn down. something to do with 3 different deals he made overseas with other countries, under the cover, under the table payoffs. And the government's behind this investigation. It's already going. It's not just starting. It's been going a while. For some reason, he thinks maybe he can dilute him. I don't know what he thinks. He thinks he's got enough stuff in enough different places that maybe he can confuse them when they really start looking. But let's see what a good job they're doing. Oh, well, they straighten everything out. They go in and find what they're looking for. This is his card, but it's straight this time around. After the shuffling and putting it back in there, he's laying awake nights worrying about this. So even no matter what, the news makes everything sounds pretty sunny about all these Republicans that should be in deep doo-doo. They know they're in deep doo-doo, and they know they're in deep doo-doo from following Trump. This is a situation around. This is a situation that got him in deep doo-doo. Look at these cards. He's really afraid that somebody's going to triumph over him. And I think this has to do with Merrick Garland and following some of the money on. They start following the money. You know, they keep talking about like they're going to follow the money on this person or that person or another person. What they're going to find out when they start following the money on even 1 or 2 people, it's going to connect so many people into this that there's going to be all kinds of heartbreak coming up. So it looks like there is definitely heartbreak in Pompeo's future. It is not going to turn out good for him. We got the 3 of Swords here. So it's definitely not going to turn out good for him. So I want to thank everybody that's watching, and I want to thank you for helping me through this difficult time in all our lives. And thank you for subscribing, and the ones that have donated, thank you so much. And I've had people ask me how to donate, and you go to the corner of the page where it says about and touch that, and it opens up a page with a donate button on it from my YouTube channel. It's the upper right hand corner. You hit about and it opens a page up that has donate, and that goes to a PayPal. So anyway, I always forget. People ask this kind of stuff and I just let it go and let it go. I don't answer it usually, and I just happen to think about it while I was doing this video, so I might as well tell people. And I want to thank anybody that's ever donated, because it's such a wonderful feeling, you know, and talk about feeling appreciated. That's great. And the next one is we're going to do Lindsey Graham. Oh, Lindsey, what are you up to? I hope I turned that on. I hope I haven't sat here and done this whole thing when the video's not even on. That's one thing about having the camera backwards when you're using it. But okay, Lindsey Graham, what are you up to, Lady Lindsey? Lady Lindsey. Lindsey Graham. Well, on some level, he's already figuring out where he might go to make a deal. Look at this. This is the bottom. This is where he might go to make a deal. Interesting. Well, this is a strange card to draw for his signifier. the strength card. It is a female strength card, so that's his best strength, I guess, is by the way, I did try something different. I tried grounding this mite to my skin this time to see if it wouldn't buzz. But yeah, so we got the strong female card for Lindsey Graham, and I was just sitting here thinking he should have been on the border with Ted Cruz, and maybe that's something to do with it. Maybe that's telling me, no, I get my strength from the female side. Who knows? Somebody's making him an offer, and it's the Knight of Cups, so it's not somebody up real high in government. It would probably be a good idea, whoever's making it to him, for him to take it. The foundation is yes. Yes, what? Because here we go following the money again, because when they start following money, it's going to be on all of them. Here's another ace. Follow the money. What got him into this to start with? Somebody had tapes or something on his love life, but he would have followed. He would have fell in line just like the rest of them sooner or later, but he was one of the first ones that helped push all this crap. Excuse me. Some woman judge or lawyer or something coming after him because they're following the money. And this also could be some money that might have got paid off in Georgia when he was doing those phone calls. He might have insinuated more or sent information for more switching around. I should have brought a glass of water in here. I usually never have any trouble when I'm giving a video with my coughing. Whatever Lindsey's in trouble with, it's the government. That's what he's the most worried about. Something he's done, something he's taken, something he's not put in, something he's calmed over or something instead of taken care of. If I rewatch this, even when I start to edit it, I might have to go get a drink of water. I don't want to. I don't want to move. I'm almost through. But something is really gnarly, really hidden, really not nice could come out on him. And so that's the one thing he's been afraid of ever since this started. I mean, we knew that there was something going on, but this is really some bad stuff. It's a lot worse than anybody would ever even imagine for him. Something to do with taking money from poor people and just thinking he could totally get away with it. And he's not going to get away from it. Look at all these subpoenas coming after him. So I'm going to go back over this and see how it comes out in my head. So we got female strength. That's his head thinking that he can get out of this. Thinking maybe he'll make an offer to somebody or somebody will make an offer to him to get him out of this if push comes to shove. Yes, he is guilty of doing stuff. And yes, they're following the money on it. And it's to do with some kind of relationship he had. There's going to be a woman judge or prosecutor. It's going to be through the government. It's going to be secrets. I'm thinking maybe he even gave secrets out or something. I don't know what kind of committees he's on. Something was breached. Something was breached. And it had to do with taking money from poor people. And he was a fool to do it. And they're coming after him. So that's Lindsey Graham. And then everybody else wanted me to do one on Trump and what he's doing now. I just seen him on TV for 2 seconds and wanted to throw up. I wasn't even sure I wanted to do this, but I've got people, when people are asking for stuff, I'm going to try to do what they're asking for. If they're nice enough to watch my channel, I'm going to try to read cards on some of the things they're asking, because I'm always telling people to let me know what they want me to read cards on. So, let's see. This is my last one. Trump, really quick. And I'm not going to put this up till later tonight because I got a couple of readings to do, so it may have changed by then. I may have to quit it all. Stop it all. Oh, I want to thank you guys so much. All of you. So, oh, this is Donald Trump. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Something's rushing in. And I don't think that's him. I think that's somebody after his ass. And I shuffled and shuffled and stuck that back in a different place for being a fool. So let's see. Is this Nancy Pelosi, the lady governor in Georgia, where he's getting sucked into that law case, that suit with Donald Trump about throwing the election? Something's going on there. Somebody's got his number, and it's going to change his whole world. This makes me feel good because I feel like there's so many things he's done, and there's going to be so many things against him that something's going to definitely reverse his whole world. It's going to take his foundation totally down. He will no longer be the star when that's over. I got a hair in one of my eyes too. I'm doing great today. Yeah. He's already worried about it. He knows. I know I use this phrase too much, but he already knows he's totally in deep, deep doo-doo. And he should be shutting his mouth, and he's opening it more. He's coming out and giving stuff. He's going to be out in the cold. Going to get separated from his money, and this is all going to go forward really fastly. We've waited and waited and waited, and we know it takes a long time for lawsuits and stuff, but once things start happening, it's just going to start like an avalanche, and it's going to go forward, and it's going to pull these other lawmakers. I know it's going to be following the money, but it's going to go really fast once they get into it. And here we are. This is Trump. This is his 7th house, wouldn't you know? Yeah, he hasn't changed at all. He's still a miserable SOB. Still trying to keep people in his lines, and this is saying yes. I like that. That's a verification on what's going on. The cards are coming through for me. Here's Biden living inside of Trump's mind for free. That's one of the things that he's worried about. He's worried about Biden and the whole administration coming after his butt. He doesn't think it would ever happen. And he's trying to figure out what he can do about it, how he can cut himself off from it. I'm going to pull a couple more cards here. He's thinking the Republican Party's going to bail him out, but they're not. They're going to take a deeper look, follow the money, and see who paid who off. So I really feel like reading on all these different people, it's going to be, like I said, like once they start following the money, it doesn't matter too much who they follow it on. It's going to end up being like a giant spider web, and it's just going to go from one to the other, and it's just going to keep going. And hopefully they'll get rid of that I know what it's called. In fact, I've even done readings on it. But they're going to get rid of that filibuster, and when they do that, um, then they'll really be able to do some law. If they don't get rid of that, they're just playing. They're playing all their games in a Republican stadium. That's all there is to it. And with all the bullshit and all the stuff going on and all the propaganda, they're going to have to get some teeth. They're going to have to grow some teeth. And to do that, they're going to have to get rid of the filibuster. So anyway, I love you all, and thank you, and thanks for watching. Namaste now. Somebody was teasing me about how I say that. I've always said it that way. I guess I say I put an emphasis on the math. So, namaste? I'm not sure how to do it. I've always done it namaste. Okay.